So hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you are all doing fine. It's me, Major Sprocket, and I have some major news because I've bought a new bike. And I can tell you, she's a cracker. Well, the last video that you saw probably was the review of the Hyosung GV250, which was my previous bike. And during that video I also told you guys that although I was happy with the bike, I also noticed that I needed something a little bigger because I sometimes commute on the freeway, and a 125 on the freeway is always going to have some limitations. So I started to look out on the market to see what kind of retro-ish bike I could see that would fit my needs. And so I did a bit of research, well, a lot of research actually, that involved doing Excel files and graphics and calculations like power versus weight and all that stuff. And also taking into account price and all that, I came to the conclusion that the best option for me would be the Hyosung GV250. And so I got it. I traded the Hyosung and I got myself a new bike. And I must say that so far I've been pretty happy with it. So why did I go with the Hyosung GV? Oh, nice. Kawasaki's is a 300? Seems like it. So why did I go with the Hyosung GV250? Well, first things first, let's get it out of the way. Price. It's really cheap for the bike that it is. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I really don't need a bike. For me, it's just a toy. I use it to commute sometimes, but there's no justification to spend a lot of money on something that I don't really need. It's mainly just a toy. It's just for fun. And so for just a fun bike, yeah, in terms of price, this really hit the spot. I mean, it's not too expensive. And the other considerations was, well, that it had to be also cheap to maintain. Of course, it's never going to be as cheap to maintain as the Hyosung was, because let's face it, you can't get more basic than that. It's not as basic as a bike as the Hyosung was. I mean, it's a two-cylinder V-twin with electronic injection, so there's no carburetor, and it's going to have bigger tires, which I'm going to put somewhere around here, so you can check out the size of the tires. I haven't really memorized all of those details because who has the time for it? We all just want to get on the bike and enjoy some riding. Oh, look at that. Isn't that river nice? And so it's not a simple bike like it's not as simple of a bike as the Hyosung was, and so the maintenance costs will be a bit higher, but not the same as it would if it was a four-cylinder bike, Japanese bike and all that stuff. So it will be relatively cheap to maintain. Man, I love this road. Just look at that. That is the Mondego River over there. This road is simply amazing. But let's talk about the bike. And why a 250? I mean, you could have gone for something bigger, Major Sprocket. Well, there's the rumor that there's going to start to be mandatory inspections for all bikes here in Portugal. But It is said, and it's not confirmed yet, that these mandatory inspections will start for bikes who are 250cc and up. And so that was one of the considerations that I had. Not that I'm not planning to maintain the bike. I am planning on maintaining the bike, but it's just another hassle that I really didn't want to have. Having to go to regular yearly inspections like I need to do with the cars of the family. It would be just another thing to take my time away. And let's face it, I would rather be riding than going through inspections or MOTs like you have in Britain. So that was one consideration. And let's face it, for what I do in a bike, I don't think I need much more than a 250. I mean, this one has 26 horsepower, I believe. So has a maximum speed of 140 kilometers an hour. I have no idea what that is in miles, but I'll put it up there somewhere for all you guys in the UK. And yeah, I'm not planning on doing long runs on the highway. So for cruising along national roads such as this one, just to have fun or commuting in the city, a 250 is more than enough for what I need. One of the main issues that I had with the Givenchy was that I really needed to be careful if I was planning to overtake a car on the freeway, because yeah, 11 horsepower, you really need to plan ahead. And with this one, it's no issue whatsoever. I just go down a gear and it goes. It really goes. It is a peppy bike for a 250. So yeah, taking into consideration everything that I really wanted, this was the bike that fitted the bill and ticked the most boxes. So I ended up getting it, and so far I'm not regretting it one bit. It is a Korean bike, so it's a bit better in terms of quality. Let's overtake that smoky two-stroke, doing an illegal maneuver. What was I talking about? I completely forgot, because I am getting old and my brain is stopping working. Little by bit, I am descending into dementia. I really completely forgot what I was saying. But I think it was something to do about overtaking cars, just going down a gear and going. Oh yeah, it's a really peppy bike for a 250, and it'll go a lot faster than let's say a Yamaha Virago or an XV250, whatever you guys call it in the UK or the US. Oh yeah, it's a Korean bike, so in terms of quality, build quality and all that, yeah, it's miles better than the Givenchy was. Not that the Givenchy was a bad bike in terms of quality. In the other video I explained all the issues that I had with it. It was small things that you could sort out easily, but you can tell that this one is a little bit better in terms of quality. Now, I'm not saying it's up there with Japanese ones. There are still some details that I can see where you can see that they've cut some corners, but taking into account the price, that was around 3,600 euros with everything included. Yeah, you can't really fault them for cutting some corners on stuff that is non-essential. Look, that is amazing. I don't know if you guys could see that, but that was like a falcon or an eagle or something like that doing a dive. Ah, here it is. Hope you guys can see that. This road is really amazing. So yeah, and in terms of reliability, I'm hoping that it is a lot better than the Hyosung was. Now, this particular model, I've searched and searched on forums and the internet to see if the reliability was okay, and the only thing that I managed to see that could be a problem was that they tend, or at least the older models did, to having issues with the rectifier regulator. And that would mean that it would stop charging the battery, and if you didn't sort that out, some guys there fishing. Awesome. Quickly enough, it would eventually lead to stator problems, and then you had to replace it, and that would be a bit more expensive. But the persons that reported that were heavy users, and it seemed to happen more to the initial models of this bike. I believe that since then they have sorted that out, so I hope, and so far I've had zero problems with it, I'm still breaking it in, that I won't have any issues with the reliability. In terms of creature comforts, I now have a fuel gauge, that I didn't have in the Hyosung. Now, unfortunately, I've also lost the gear indicator, which I thought I would miss a lot more than I do. So really no biggie there. And the fuel gauge is okay, but it's not the most reliable thing in the world. It will let you know how much fuel you still have there, but when the fuel starts to go down, it starts to not be as reliable, and it's at that time that you really need a reliable fuel gauge. But you have 2 trip meters, so you can always reset the trip meter after you go to the pumps, and then you'll know how many, no, not a truck, god damn it, how many miles or kilometers you've done with it after you fueled up, so you can do a good estimate of when you need to fill up again. And I could stop here, but I really don't want to. And yeah, it's a cracking little bike, and in terms of looks, it's really cool. I really dig the looks of it. It's a cruiser. Really, you really needed to be in front of me right now. But yeah, in terms of looks, it's a really classic looking bike. It's a cruiser, V-twin, retro looking bike. I believe Hyosung are coming up with a new model that is Euro 4, and that already has ABS and twin disc brakes. This one has a disc brake in front and a drum brake in the back, which is not as good, and it doesn't have ABS. But hey, sometimes you really need to do some compromises, and I really don't think that the new one that's not out yet looks all that better. They're going for the new dark cruiser thing, but I don't know, it just doesn't look as good. So I'm going to stop here, now right next to the Mondego River, to give you guys a look at the bike, because I really think it looks cool. So yeah, let's turn it off. And give you guys a look at the bike. Whoa. Now, tell me that isn't a nice bike. It really doesn't look like a 250. It looks like a much bigger bike, so you won't be embarrassed when you stop at the local bike bar. Most people that look at it say, wow, is that a 600? And I'm like, no, it's 250. And they really can't believe it's a 250. They really think it's a bigger bike. But it's not. It's a 250. It only weighs like 117 kilograms. It's really easy to manage. It has a feet-forward position that I thought would be a much bigger problem than it is, because I really got used to it in no time. The seat is really low. I'm not really a tall guy, so it's really easy for me to manage it. And yeah, I love it. I'm really digging it so far. It was really easy to get used to it. And so, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it too. And this will be the bike for a long time in the channel now. Hope you all like it, and I'll see you guys later for some more videos. Have fun. Bye, guys.